State, you can call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state would next call Detective Billy Abbott.
Detective, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Watch your step as you come forward. If you need a glass of water, let us know. We'll do our best to accommodate you.
I will like one.
Mr. Gray here will take care of that for you. You can just leave it there.
Okay.
Is it in your way?
It is.
Just put it on top of here.
All right. Thank you.
That's fine. If there's an objection made, I just ask that you pause. Let me roll on the objection, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
All right. And with that said, state, you may inquire. You're ready.
Your Honor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Detective Abbott.
And you said detective. Who are you employed with?
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
How long?
I've been employed there for 15 years.
What is your current assignment?
My current assignment is the Homicide Unit.
How long have you been a homicide detective?
4 years and 11 months.
Were you a homicide detective back in December of 2018?
Yes, I was.
And what is the makeup of the homicide unit?
So it's currently composed of 7 teams, and each team has 4 detectives and 1 supervisor.
Back in 2018, however, were there 6 teams?
Correct.
And how are teams assigned homicide investigations?
We are assigned the investigations on an on-call basis. So we would do 1 day a week, generally. You're on call for 24 hours a day, and then it would go to the next team the day after that.
And then if your team is on call and your team is assigned a homicide investigation, does it go through like a rotation between the 4 detectives?
Yes, ma'am. We have a 4-team rotation as well.
Now, amongst the 4 detectives, are there partners?
Yes.
And who was on your homicide team in December 2018 going through 2019?
Detective Guthrie, he was my partner, and then we also had Detective Dishman and Detective Rob Bidlick.
And I believe Bidlick is Bydlik for the record?
Yes.
And do you handle just homicides in the homicide unit?
We handle homicides, but we also do unnatural deaths. At that time, we were handling overdoses, and we also handle kidnappings.
So drawing your attention now to December of 2018, specifically December 30th, were you assigned the case of IS that was pregnant with a date of birth of September 6, 2002?
Yes.
And had someone else within JSO already been working on IS's disappearance?
Yes, the missing persons unit, specifically Detective Porter.
And what was the reason of transferring the case on December 30th to the homicide unit?
They had exhausted all their leads at that time, and they felt like, it's a good possibility that she could be dead, just because there was no signs of her anywhere. For lack of a better term, she fell off the face of the earth.
Now, when you received the case, did you actually speak with Detective Porter?
I did.
And what was the purpose of speaking with her?
So that we could meet one-on-one, our people, her and her supervisor, Sergeant Borowski, and we could just pass down all the information so that nothing was left off.
And also not to exhaust resources on matters that had already been addressed. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Generally speaking, what information did you have when you started your official investigation?
So I knew it was a time-sensitive issue because we're dealing with a 16-year-old juvenile who is also 5 months pregnant. She had already gotten phone records, and there's nothing past the 19th. I see that, on surveillance video from Terry Parker's school, she left in her lunch hour during 11 o'clock, and that was it. And there was no phone calls, nothing beyond that. We're not seeing anything on social media, so it's very concerning.
Now, in thinking about that, were you also given the name of Jose?
I was.
And what were you told about Jose?
So Jose was a name that came up quite a bit in the beginning. That was primarily the name that was popping up in different things that we were being told with her. And we were being told also from the family that Jose was actually IS's uncle, the defendant, Johnathan Quiles.
Now, you just said Johnathan Quiles, and you just made a eyesight motion to the right side of the courtroom for you. Obviously, be my left, but your right side. Did you ultimately come into contact with Johnathan Quiles in this case?
Yes.
And would you recognize this person if you were to see him again?
Yes.
Could you please identify for the record something that this person is wearing and where located?
Mr. Quiles is seated right here next to his counsel. He's wearing a white T-shirt and glasses.
Now, when you say right here, you had also made an arm motion that we cannot obviously decipher.
Right over there.
And that would be my next notion is try not to interrupt me in the middle of talking, because Madam Court Reporter cannot take us talking at the same time. Thank you, sir. Can you just repeat your last answer?
Mr. Quiles is seated right over here next to his counsel, wearing a white long-sleeve shirt and glasses.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
So reflected.
Now, did you learn if IS had left the school with any items?
Yes,
And were those 2 tote bags?
they were.
Okay. We'll get into a little bit more about that later on. Now, were you also provided information in regards to IS's closest friends?
Yes, I was.
And at this point, had Detective Porter been able to make contact with them?
She had.
And were they Sabria Payton, Marie Logan, Albertha Vey, and Haley Schimpert?
Yes.
Now, you had stated that Detective Porter had reached out to the phone company involving IS's cell records?
Yes, she's the one that subpoenaed her cell phone records.
Now, you had talked about that there was 2 phone calls, and when were they made?
So there was the last 2 outgoing calls were at 7:02 and 7:05. The one at 7:02 was a 904-428 number, 6870. That was identified by her family as Maria Logan's number. And then the second one, the last call, was a 904-661-8779. That was identified as her little brother Stevie's phone.
And is his last name Griffin for the record?
Yes, Stevie Griffin.
Now, what about in regards to text message communications?
There was some text messages with her aunt, excuse me, Jametta, and that was to her number of 904-450-0095.
So you were able to decipher these were all family members or a friend that IS had communicated with on her phone?
Correct.
Now, what about bank records? Did Detective Porter get them, or did you?
Detective Porter actually was able to obtain those.
And were they from the Navy Federal Credit Union?
Yes.
And did you review those?
Yes.
So after you have, would you call it a briefing with Detective Porter?
You could call it that, yes.
And was that on the actual day that you were assigned the case involving IS?
Yes, that was at 9:30 on December 30th, 2018.
And was that a Sunday?
It was a Sunday morning.
Okay. So you were on call.
Yes, that weekend.
And after briefing, you looked at cell phone records, you looked at some bank records. Did you decide to do some field work then?
I did.
And what did you do first?
So I'm being told initially that, her uncle could be involved with this. I thought, why not go straight to him and speak to him at his house?
And where were you told that he lived?
He lived at 528 Trout River Drive.
Is that here in Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida?
That's Duval County in the Panama Park area, I would say.
And do you recall approximately what time you arrived at the defendant's residence?
Approximately 11:30
Is that AM?
a.m.
Just to be clear.
Sure, yes, a.m.
Thank you, sir. And when you arrived, was anyone home?
Yes.
And who was home?
Mr. Quiles was home. His wife, Naomi Quiles, was there. Their daughter, Nia.
What about any other children?
I don't recall any other children in the home. There may have been a couple of younger children.
Now, did you learn that the relation between the defendant and then his wife at the time, Naomi Mobley?
Yes.
What was the relation between them and IS?
IS was the maternal niece.
Of biologically to Naomi Mobley?
Yes.
And then by marriage to the defendant?
Yes.
And did you tell them why you were at their residence?
Yes, I did.
And who did you want to speak with? Both? One of them? Who?
Both?
Did you speak to them?
Yes, I did, together.
And why did you speak to them together?
Wasn't trying to hide my intentions. I wanted to just kind of get it all out in the open and just see where they were, the day she went missing, and just get a good feel for, communication with the two of them.
So just to be clear, you weren't trying to interrogate the defendant this time, were you?
No.
Okay, so you were just,
Non-custodial.
were you just trying to find more information out?
Correct.
Now, specifically in talking with the defendant, was there any discussion about items that IS had taken with her?
Yes.
Again, just focus on the defendant's statements. What was that conversation?
The conversation was regarding what she had packed, and it was told to me at that time that she only packed Victoria's Secret's underwear and bra, and the defendant said 38 pair of underwear.
And was that in relation to talking about the Victoria's Secret undergarments?
Yes.
And did you ask him how he knew that she took 38 pair?
I did not ask him how he knew. I just put an asterisk in my note by it because to me that was a red flag.
Now, when talking with the defendant, did you ask him about vehicle usage?
Yes.
And did you learn what kind of vehicles the defendant and Naomi Mobley owned?
Yes.
And what type of vehicles?
They owned a van, and then they also owned like a SUV, Dodge SUV.
And I think, was there another Buick as well?
Yes, there was a maroon Buick, yes.
And did you learn what vehicle the defendant was driving during the December 2018 timeframe?
Yes, he was driving the red van.
Now, when you arrived on the property on December 30th, 2018, did you see, and was that red van a Chrysler Town and Country minivan?
Yes, it was a Chrysler Town and Country.
Did you see that van on the property when you arrived there on December 30th?
No, I did not.
Did you ask the defendant about that van?
Yes.
What did you learn?
That he had sold it on Facebook the day before.
And so when you say the day before, would that have been on December the 29th of 2018?
Yes.
Did you ask the defendant why he sold the van?
I did. He
And
said,
what did he, go ahead, sorry, sir.
He said he needed the extra money.
Did you learn who the defendant had sold the van to?
Yes.
And was that a Roy Redding?
Yes.
That's Redding for the record. Now, were you able to ascertain the location of that van?
I was.
And was Mr. Redding willing to allow JSO to do a process of that van?
He was.
And did you go to his location?
Yes, I did.
I believe, was that his residence?
Yes,
Was that here in Jacksonville?
it was.
And did you have, at the time, Detective Pfister, it's now Lillard, come to the scene?
I did.
Now, during also this time frame that you are speaking with the defendant, did you ask for his DNA?
I did.
And was he willing to provide it?
He was.
And was that DNA taken?
Yes.
And at that time, was the DNA taken based upon learning about a sexual assault allegation?
Yes.
And did you submit the defendant's DNA to be compared to that sexual assault investigation?
I did. I submitted it on January 2nd, 2019.
And did you ask for it to be a rush?
I did.
And was that based upon your review of the findings that Mr. Nicholas Coutu had found found that he had found some DNA involving that sexual assault kit?
Yes.
And just to be clear, that sexual assault kit was from March of 2018. Is that fair to say?
That is accurate.
And also, again, to be fair, that was also involving an allegation with a Kamar Humphrey?
Yes.
Now, did you ask the defendant about his whereabouts at this time in regards to December the 19th, 2018?
Yes, I did.
And what did the defendant tell you?
He told me that he was at work all day on the 19th.
And did he tell you that he never left the property that day?
Yes.
After you spoke with the defendant and his wife, what did you do next?
I wanted to go to his place of employment, Ace Pick Apart, and just kind of verify that he was there all day.
And did you go?
I did.
And is that located at 9152 North Main Street, Jacksonville?
Yes.
Is that here in Duval County?
It is.
Now, when you arrived, were you able to make contact with anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was that?
Gary Lindros.
And did you learn that the defendant had been at work on December 19th?
Yes.
And did you also ask about the 18th and the 20th?
I did.
And was the defendant at work those days?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Detective Abbott, did you ask for some aerial photographs to be taken of Ace Pick Apart?
I did.
And when were they taken?
May of 2019.
I'm showing you it's been marked in as states. Oh, I gotta. Can everyone see? I just want to make sure I inquire so everyone can see. Thank you all. Okay, give me 1 second. So for record purposes, Detective Abbott, I'm showing you it's been marked in evidence as state 67. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you stated this was taken about 5 to 6 months after December 2018?
Yes, in May.
And so in looking at state 67, does it appear to be bless you. Does it appear to be fairly the same and accurate from when you were there in December in 2018?
Yes, it does.
Now, which way do you get in and out of Ace Pickup Park? If you could just draw it for us, please, sir.
This is the main entrance right here.
Now, is there only one parking location for visitors, police, customers?
Yes.
And could you just draw a line of that location?
Be down through here on the exterior of the lot.
Now, let me go ahead and erase for a second. When a person drives into the lot, is there more than one place a vehicle can go?
Yes.
Could you please show us those two options?
So when you first pull in, there's a spot here, but customers are not supposed to go back there. And then there's a spot here to enter the lot. Customers are not supposed to go in that way. They want everyone. There's a series of chain link fences that kind of lead you through and around this building so that they can kind of control the entrance and exit of people that do not work there.
Because in looking at all those vehicles that's to our left, are those vehicles that customers can go and look through for parts?
Yes, once they've entered in through this area right here.
Now, I want to draw your attention to the first area that you discussed, which is to the right of the screen. And do you agree that is encompassed with a blue fencing?
Yes.
Now, that opening, when you personally went there on December 30th, 2018, was there a gate there?
No.
Was that area open?
Yes.
And have you been to Ace Pickup Park numerous times?
Yes, for different cases.
And based upon your personal observations, has that area always been open?
Yes.
Now, something though I want to point out to, regarding this fence area here in between, I'll just call it A and B area. That's because do we see a fence in between, just generally speaking, for record purposes, and
Yes.
A and B? Yes?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay. Now, at the time in 2018, was there any opening between A and B?
No.
Is there an opening there now?
Yes.
However, for our purposes, there was no opening.
Correct.
And is that why vehicle work had to go in actually the customer parking lot to go from A to B?
Yes.
Now, is it your understanding that A was later purchased? I mean, it was purchased at the time in December, but that was something that was acquired by Ace Pickup Park?
Yes.
And was there still some items there from a former concrete factory?
Yes, and you can still see some of those items there.
Now, I'm going to fast forward just for a second for you. At some point, did you have a canine come, and I think it was on more than one occasion, to Ace Pickup Park?
I did.
And one of those vehicles, was it a blue GMC Envoy?
Yes.
Now, could you please show the jury where the location was approximately of where that blue GMC Envoy?
So at the time, they had several rows of vehicles backed up here, right against this wood line, and it was kind of in the middle back there. I circled it.
And that would be to the, if we're looking at, again, just A, which is the old concrete factory side, that the vehicles would have been closest to, looks like a body of water behind it?
Yes.
And is that where the canine had hit on that blue GMC Envoy?
Yes.
Now, did you learn the areas of where the defendant would work at when he was at Ace Pickup Park?
Yes, I did.
Could you please show us the areas of where you learned the defendant could work?
Pretty much everywhere on the property, to be honest with you. He did a little bit of everything there. We would see him, around this area moving cars. He would also take these large forklifts and go back in this area as well, moving things around and doing whatever needed to be done or whatever he had been tasked with.
And so you brought up another area of questions. when you talked about the first area, so that would be in the B part. There's a row of items, and then you had drawn a red line with some spacing in between rows of items, some of them being cars. When you ended the area here, and I've now done a blue line towards the end of that open area, is that where, at the time, the car crusher was located?
Yes.
And then in front of the car crusher, was that where there would be, I mean, this is obviously not to scale, where the container would be located?
Yes, kind of back there by it.
Okay. Now, when you were out there, did you learn if they had video surveillance or not?
I did ask about that, and they did have surveillance.
And did you request video surveillance for December 19th and December 20th of 2018?
I did.
Now, did you learn that there weren't cameras for all the areas here at Ace Pick Apart?
Yes.
And did you ultimately get video surveillance?
I did.
And did that include multiple cameras, fair to say?
That's fair to say.
And were most of them concentrated on the public access regarding customers?
Yes.
And in regards back to this area that we've just been calling A to simplify things, did you learn that at the time, there was no camera surveillance for this area?
No.
I'll keep this here just for a moment in case we need it again. Now, did you also learn that the defendant's supervisor was a Larry Carlson?
I did.
And was Larry Carlson there when you came and visited on December the 30th?
No.
And why not?
He had been out of work for a little while because of like a hurt leg or a hurt hip.
And was Larry Carlson there on December 19th and 20th?
No.
Now, I believe also, too, was there a download done on IS's sister, SS?
Yes.
And did you review that?
Yes.
And based upon your review, was there any material associated with IS?
Not that I found.
Now, did you also try to make contact with other particular locations where a person, if they need help or in danger, would go?
Yes.
And what did that include?
That included calling all the local hospitals around the Jacksonville area to see if anybody with the name IS had been checked in or a Jane Doe.
And first using her name IS, did you find anyone?
No.
Then using the name Jane Doe, was anything reported to you?
No. And a juvenile that's pregnant, that would spark red flags. That would probably coming in by themselves like that, injured, that's going to prompt the hospital to call the police or at least use their off-duty officers to come see if everything's okay.
Now, did something come to your attention in regards to potentially taking an airplane flight?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So, talking to IS's mother, Kim, she's desperately trying to figure out where she might have gone, what's going on. And in looking through computers and things like that, iPads, she finds, I guess, like a screenshot of a flight that had been looked up. But it was a flight that was looked up, not actually bought.
However, did you still check with the airlines?
Yes.
And could you find any record that IS had taken a plane flight somewhere?
IS was not on any of the manifests for that day.
Now, in regards to the Terry Parker High School area, did you do some investigation into maybe city buses?
Yes.
Because did you learn that she had last been seen walking out of the school?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you do in reference to city buses?
We all contacted, I contacted the city bus and asked them, were there any buses in that area during this time? And if so, could we review the video surveillance to see if this particular girl gets on? And the video on the buses is really good, and we have really good contact with JTA. And the lady looked through everything that she could find, and she's like, I'm not seeing anybody like that at all. She took it a step further to look for buses just driving through the area, because you can actually pick up people walking on the sidewalks as well. And nothing was seen on any of those videos either.
What about Greyhound?
Greyhound, yes. Detective Porter looked into the Greyhound.
And was there any information out of Greyhound involving IS?
IS was not on any tickets that were purchased. And she tried to get video, but their video wasn't up and running because they had just opened up the station.
And that's a new station not far from here?
Correct.
Now, moving on to the next day, December 31st, 2018, did you work on this case?
I did.
And what did you do?
I met with Detective Bartley with the School Board Police Department. I wanted to look at more video from Terry Parker High School of where she was at on the property, make copies of her leaving, things like that.
Now, was there a canvass done of the area surrounding Terry Parker High School?
Yes.
And what type of area is surrounded by Terry Parker? Is it businesses, residential areas?
It's all residential.
And when we say canvass, what does that mean?
Driving around initially looking for surveillance cameras. You have to remember this was kind of before Ring, so you didn't see a lot of Ring cameras up on everything. It would be the old school cameras, and a lot of people just didn't have those. But Detective Dishman and Bidlick, they looked in that area for video to try to catch her anywhere, and they weren't able to come up with anything.
Now, did you meet with anyone in person?
Yes, that day, yes.
And who did you meet with?
I met with SS.
And did you get a potential tip from SS about IS's possible whereabouts?
Yes.
And where would that have been?
That would have been with her grandmother in Georgia.
Was that a Nancy and Clifford Ware?
Yes.
Now, based upon that, what action did you do?
I first called them up, talked to them. Is she up there? We're just trying to find her, make sure she's okay. They swear up and down she's not. So I called the local police department to go in after that phone call and search themselves. And then after that, I'm still talking to SS about this, and I prompt SS to do a controlled phone call, which is where she will call her grandmother with the phone on speaker, and you hold it up close so it doesn't sound like you're talking on speakerphone. And I'm like, talk to her about, what you believe she did, getting her up there and all this. But ultimately, Ms. Ware denied ever sending a bus, putting her on a bus or coming and picking her up, denied her being up there. And then later, not necessarily that day, but later, probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I sent the police back to her home to do another search later at night when we might be able to catch them off guard to try to see if she's actually there or not.
And was IS there?
No.
And ultimately, was this tip then came to a conclusion of not being involved?
Correct.
Now, you stated that you had put a rush into the defendant's DNA would that have gone to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Yes.
And based upon that rush, when did you receive those results?
Pretty quick. It came back January 7th, 2019.
So 5 days.
5 days.
And did those results involving that the defendant's DNA was found on some underwear in a sexual assault kit?
Yes.
So moving forward to the next day of January 8th, 2019, were you coming in to do some follow-up and based upon those DNA results?
Yes.
However, did you get some further information?
I did.
And Did somebody call in with some information?
Yes,
Who?
Joseph Quiles.
Now, who told you about, and don't go into what the statements are, but how did you find out about this phone call?
I was notified around 9 a.m. by Detective Porter that she had just gotten off the phone with Joseph Quiles, and he had wanted to call in and give information.
Thank you, sir. And was Joseph Quiles' information then forwarded on to you?
Yes,
Did you call him?
I did.
And again, we're not going to go into his statements, but based upon those statements, did it change your investigation involving IS?
Yes.
And how did it change?
It turned it from a missing persons case to a homicide case.
Now, based upon the information that Joseph Quiles provided, did you try to then seek some corroboration?
I did.
And did Joseph Quiles tell you how he communicated with the defendant regarding this information?
Yes.
And how?
Phone calls, text messages.
Now, did you ascertain the defendant's cell phone records?
I did.
And did you look at those cell phone records?
I did.
And were you able to confirm whether or not Joseph Quiles had talked to his brother, the defendant?
Yes, I did.
And was that, I believe, 4 times on December 20th, 2018?
Yes,
And they talked other dates. Is that fair to say?
that is fair to say. They talked quite frequently.
Okay. Now, did you also, after that, what did you do?
After that, I needed to further corroborate the statements that he made to me.
And did that lead you back to Ace Pick-Apart?
It did.
And generally speaking, what information about Ace Pick-Apart?
I wanted to know if they had a large rollaway dumpster, and if they did, if they kept records of when it was picked up.
And did you learn that they did?
Yes.
And what was the company of this rollaway dumpster?
It's All American Garbage.
And did you learn if the trash had been picked up in the month of December?
Yes.
And what was the date?
December 20th, 2018.
Now, did you speak with anyone associated with All American Garbage?
Yes.
And again, without going statements, who did you speak with?
Billy Brown.
Now, did you also try to get some information of where that container would go after being picked up from Ace Pick-Apart?
Yes.
And where is that?
Mr. Brown informed me that all American Garbages only go to the Otis Road landfill.
And did you then reach out to Otis Road Landfill?
I did.
And again, just tell me who you spoke with there.
Ed Smallfield.
And did Mr. Smallfield give you some information in regards to the operation of Otis Road Landfill?
Yes.
And at that time, did you ask Mr. Smallfield to do something for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
I did.
And what was that?
Cease operations in a particular area of the landfill.
And would that have been on what date?
It was the 8th that I contacted him about this.
And that's just 2019?
2019, January 8th. Yes, ma'am.
And then is January 8th, 2019 also one of the days that you had Canine go out to Ace Pick-Apart?
Yes.
And did you have retired Detective King come out there from another agency with his Canine?
I did.
And was there an alert to a red Mercury vehicle?
Yes.
And did you have I guess it's like a blood tissue found?
Yes.
And did you submit that to the lab?
I did.
And that's come back to a female not involved in this case?
Correct.
Or unknown person?
It was an unknown person.
And I believe that then the date that we had talked about with the blue GMC, that was 2 days later on January the 10th, 2019?
Yes, on the 10th.
Okay. Now, were you present when Detective King was on the property with his canine?
I was on the property, but I wasn't with him every step of the way.
Were you there any times when the dog alerted?
Yes.
And what did you personally see the dog alert to?
The GMC Envoy.
Anything else? Again, just your personal observations.
Not there. I saw it alert other places.
And was that the car crushing machinery?
Yes.
Now, did you ask about that company that takes crushed vehicles?
Yes. Once they crush the vehicles down, it's pretty much just like a large box of just twisted metal. And they'll put several of them on a semi, and they take it out to Baldwin to trademark metals. It'll be either shredded or melted down after that.
And that usually would happen the same day,
Yes.
give or take?
Give or take a day.
You might just have a moment, please. Now, Detective Abbott, on January 8th, 2019, was the defendant arrested?
Yes.
Okay. And did you speak with the defendant?
I did.
And was the defendant placed into the Duval County Jail?
Yes.
And did the defendant still deny knowing anything? Did the defendant deny knowing anything about IS's disappearance?
He did.
And did you confront the defendant about the DNA found on the crotch area of the panties?
Yes.
What was the defendant's response?
He said there's no way, and he thought we were making it up and lying to him.
And did the defendant still deny that he ever left his place of employment on December 19, 2018?
Yes.
Now, was there a decision made prior to booking the defendant in jail?
Yes.
What was that decision?
The decision was to provide a recording device to an inmate inside the Duval County Jail, and then he would be placed into the cell with them to record any statements that he might make.
And did Detective Bidlick help you with that situation?
Yes.
Okay. Now, afterwards, did Detective Bidlick tell you that there was some information on the wire?
Yes.
And did you listen to that?
I did.
And the two individuals that were involved in that wire, were they Morris McClendon and George Jackson?
Yes.
And was the wire audio recorded?
Yes.
Now, did you go back to Ace Pick Apart on January 11th, 2019?
Yes, I did.
And who did you speak with?
It was Johnathan Lindros.
And did Mr. Lindros provide you something?
Yes, he did.
And what did he provide you?
He provided me with a aerial Google map that's the satellite image of their property, that had been given to him by Mr. Quiles, Johnathan Quiles, where he had took it upon himself to walk the entire circumference of the property and to make a note where all the holes in the fences were. And he let him know that he went ahead and fixed all the holes so that people couldn't sneak into the property.
Now, did you also retrieve the defendant's cell phone during his arrest?
Yes,
Did you do a search warrant of that cell phone?
I did.
And when you reviewed the cell phone data, did you find that map that the defendant had provided to Johnathan Lindros?
Yes,
Had the defendant sent that image to Johnathan Lindros in a text message?
yes,
Now, was a decision made to travel somewhere?
yes.
And where was that?
New York City,
And why?
to speak with Joseph Quiles.
And did you speak with him?
Yes, I did.
And was it in regards to what he had called JSO for earlier, a few days before?
Yes,
Now, at some point, did the topic of gun gallery come up?
it did.
And did that come from The Wire?
It did.
Now, did someone go out to the gun gallery?
Yes, I asked my sergeant to go out there.
And did you receive any items from gun gallery?
Yes,
Did you review it?
yes.
And what did you observe on that item?
It was a sign-in sheet from December 20th, 2018 with Mr. Quiles' signature and printed name.
And is gun gallery located off of Beach Boulevard?
Yes,
Now, drawing your attention back to Otis Road Landfill, was a decision made by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to do a search there?
yes,
And I'm not going to ask you a lot of questions. We've had other witnesses talk about it. However, did the search go on for 16 actual search days?
yes.
However, IS was not found, was she?
Her body was not found, no.
But were there other items indicative potentially of IS?
Yes,
Was that just based upon information you had been provided?
yes,
Involving potentially that 38 pair of Victoria's Secret panties the defendant had told you about?
correct.
And did you find a Terry Parker book?
I did.
Now, were you there when the Canine, Detective King, was there at the landfill?
Yes,
And did you see alerts as well during that time frame?
I did.
Did you ever see the vultures as well?
I did. They were there almost every day.
Now, after confirming that the defendant had gone to the gun gallery on December 20th, 2018, did you investigate whether or not a firearm existed?
Yes.
And what did you find out in regards to a firearm?
I learned that the defendant owned a firearm, a 9mm, that was still in his home at 528 Trout River Drive.
And was this confirmed with Naomi Mobley?
Yes,
However, did you do, though, a search warrant?
I did.
And I believe Detective Hamilton had come out with you to do that search warrant?
Yes, she did.
And were you able to recover that gun?
I did.
Now, were you also told that, though, there was a gun cleaning kit?
Later, I was told about that.
And were you ever able to recover a gun cleaning kit?
I went back under a separate search warrant and was not able to find it.
Now, did you find out through your investigation that the defendant would go often to gun gallery?
Yes.
Now, were you made, on February 25th, 2019, were you contacted by Naomi Mobley?
I was.
And Was that in regard to some items that were of defendants?
Yes.
What were those items?
It was a rain suit and a saw.
However, did you learn that someone else wore that rain suit more recently than the defendant?
Yes, her sister.
And did you do a search warrant, though, to obtain these items?
I did.
And was that rain suit then also associated with the Ace video pick-apart?
Yes.
And is that what the defendant is wearing on December 20th, 2018?
Yes.
Now, at some point, based upon the items found at the landfill, was there a discussion with Miss Kimberly Mobley?
Yes.
And did you, before telling Miss Mobley about items you found, did you ask her to describe items to you?
I did.
And was there a particular item that she had described to you?
Yes.
And what was the description of that item?
It was a pair of underwear, Victoria's Secret. It was black, white, and pink, and had pink mouths or kisses all over it.
Now, did Miss Mobley, when you were talking with her, know that you had found a pair of underwear that matched that description?
No.
Now, were you also doing some other search warrants that involved Google location data?
Yes.
And then cell phone data?
Yes.
Now, we had talked about obtaining defendant's phone. Were you ever able to recover IS's phone?
No, I was not.
And so you were never able to do what's considered a cell dump of IS's phone?
No, I was not.
And what about social media?
Yes, I did multiple social media accounts.
Would that have involved Facebook?
Yes.
Would that have involved Instagram?
Yes.
And what about Snapchat?
Yes.
And whose documents were you doing search warrants for?
IS's documents, as well as Johnathan Quiles' documents.
And I know we had talked about also that Detective Porter had spoken to IS's close friends. Did you as well?
Yes, I did.
And had they ever heard from her post 12/19/2018?
No.
Now, though, specifically in regards to some conversations with AV, were you told about an individual that was unknown with a number?
Yes, I was.
And that would be defense 1. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And did Ms. Bay inform you about that information?
Yes,
And did you look into it?
I did.
And was there anything involved with that potential unknown individual in this case that you're aware of?
No.
Now, there was something also about that number, 904-661-7889.
7889.
Whose number is that?
That's Stevie Griffin's. IS's little brother.
Now, were you contacted by Miss Kimberly Mobley on April 2nd, 2019?
Yes.
And based upon that phone conversation, did you go out to her residence?
I did.
And did you have a crime scene detective come out?
Yes.
And what items did you have collected at that time?
A pill bottle of Don Quay and a pill bottle of parsley.
And did you also ask Dr. Thomas to review those items and what those items mean?
Yes.
Now, did you meet with SS again on April the 4th, 2019?
Yes.
And did you want to speak with her about what she knew or did not know in regards to IS?
Yes.
And did you obtain some additional information?
I did.
And then in regards to those unique Victoria's Secret underwear, was Victoria's Secret contacted?
Yes.
And did you learn if those underwear had come from a certain collection?
Yes, the 2017 collection.
And then also, did you inquire with Naomi Mobley about the Donquay and parsley?
I did.
And did she provide you some information about the Donquay and parsley?
She did.
Based upon speaking with her, did you then do some further either search warrants or subpoenas for information?
I did.
Did that involve Amazon?
Yes,
Did that involve Wells Fargo banking records?
it did.
Was the Wells Fargo banking records for who?
That was for Johnathan Quiles and Naomi Mobley.
And then whose Amazon records did you inquire?
It was theirs as well.
When you say theirs,
It's Naomi Mobley and Johnathan Quiles.
thank you, sir. And did you get that information back?
Yes,
And did you review it?
I did.
Now, in regards to the Amazon information, did you also get some information for Naomi Quiles regarding that?
Yes.
Now, I know the print is a little bit small, but in States 58, it's a blow up. But do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
And what are you looking at?
These are the computer screenshots that she took of their Amazon list.
What are the dates?
October 7th, 2017, and October 4th, 2017.
Was there something in particular that was ordered on October the 4th, 2017 on the defendant and his wife's Amazon account?
Yes.
And what was that?
Donquay and parsley.
I think it's Donquay.
Yes.
And then on the other date,
It's the parsley.
okay, you want to make sure it's accurate.
Yes. It's so small. Yes, the parsley was on October 4th, 2017, and on October 7th, it was Nature's Way Donquay route.
Thank you, sir. You're on permission to pass around due to the font.
Sure.
Then upon review of the Wells Fargo records and states 59, were you able to ascertain whether or not these purchases were made from the defendant and his wife's, Naomi Mobley's, Wells Fargo account?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Now, and throughout the course of this investigation, are you also sending additional items to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
I am.
And so are you the one that makes the determination of what goes to the lab?
Yes.
And in this case, did you send anything possible for DNA testing?
I sent a lot of things for DNA.
And that involved the landfill, the firearm, things like that?
Yes.
Now, I had mentioned him earlier. Were you provided information about a Kamar Humphrey? We had talked about that sexual assault kit.
Yes.
And did you look into him as a potential suspect?
I did. Yes.
And, however, did you find any information in regards to him and the disappearance, ultimate murder of IS?
No.
And when you took over the case December 30th of 2019, had Kamar Humphrey's DNA been provided? I think provided, but had there been any resolution of the results of the sexual assault examination?
No, not at that time.
Is it fair to say the results did not come out of the sexual assault examination until January 7th, 2019?
Correct.
Now, were there other tips being provided to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in regards to IS?
Yes, there's always a ton of tips that will come in on missing persons cases.
And are those looked into?
Yes.
And were they looked to in this case?
Yes.
And in the end, do some tips give information and do some do not?
Correct.
And that would be on any case?
Every case.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Tips aren't always accurate.
Is that why they have to be investigated?
Yes. Some you can investigate right away because, someone's like, oh, 4 days ago I thought I saw a female walking down the road. Well, you can drive back out there, but it's 4 days after the fact. The person's going to be gone.
Now, did you also obtain DNA known samples from the Mobley family in regards to the Don Quay swabbing and parsley swabbing?
Yes.
Now, you had stated that you had obtained a cell dump and cell records. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So I'm going to show you first States 33 composite. It's one disc, but there's multiple items on it. And can everyone see their screen? Thank you all. Now, Detective Abbott, what are we looking at?
This is the first page of a Cellbrite report of a cell phone download.
And did you send the defendant's cell phone to the computer forensics unit?
I did.
And now you said Cellbrite. Is that the technology that is used so someone can easily read the documents, items, data from a person's cell phone?
Yes, ma'am. It's a sort program. So it takes all the data off your phone and sorts it out into different tabs. So you can click on here for pictures, here for videos, here for messages, here for locations. It's all the calendar, the cookies, everything is listed off to the left-hand side when it sorts it and breaks it down.
So when we're looking to the left side, is that kind of like our barcode of information that we can look into?
Yes.
So if it says call log, we can actually go and click on the call log. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And in fact, even like in the table search, can we put in some numbers and will it do a search for us?
It will.
So if we put in beginning numbers of 347, is that a New York area code?
Yes.
And in fact, I hadn't asked you yet, sir, and I apologize. And when we're seeing the number 347-652-2394, were you able to determine whose phone number that was?
Yes.
And whose number?
Joseph Quiles.
So when we're looking here at, under the call log, and I put in 347, does it then bring up every individual that has the beginning of 347?
Yes, it does.
Now, Detective Abbott, if I wanted to go and look at the dates of this call log, where would I go?
Scroll to the right.
Okay. Now, with these, because it says UTC plus 0, does that mean that the times indicated are in Eastern Standard Time?
Yes and no. It's in UTC time. That's Coordinated Universal Time is what it means. It's going to be 5 hours or 4 hours off of Eastern Standard Time, depending on if we're in Daylight Savings Time or not. It's kind of like a worldwide standard that most of your cell phone companies use, social media uses that. Everything that we get from these companies is always in this Coordinated Universal Time, UTC.
Now, was there something of note during your review that you recognized in these records?
Yes.
And what was that?
There was approximately 2 years of data missing.
Okay, and should I continue to scroll down?
Yes.
Okay.
Scroll down to December 20th, 2018.
Okay. So I've gone where we said December 20th, 2018, 8/28/09. And then what's the entry before that, Detective Abbott?
12/8/2016.
So is that where you were stating that the year 2017 and then the year 28 going up to 12/20 is not in these records?
Correct.
And these are the records, again, taken directly from the cell phone?
Correct. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see that 2016 appears to be somewhat intact. I mean, it starts on 12/6, but it's the end of 2016 and then skips straight to December 20th, 2018 from the 8th of December.
Now, in regards to text messages, did you look to see if there was any communication with anyone regarding the December 19th, December 20th target time?
Yes, ma'am. I looked at every tab in this phone.
Now, would I go under the MMS or the SMS?
SMS.
Okay. Now, is there, I believe if I scroll to the right, is that where we actually see the body of the information?
Yes.
Okay. And then is it also indicative of who sent and who received?
Yes.
And did you find some text messages between the defendant and his brother?
Yes.
Look at the date here. Now, did you notice anything about the dates here?
They also skip from 2016 to 2018.
Let me scroll up for a moment here. So is it fair to say that we go from December 22nd, 2016, 9/57/09 to 12/20/2018, 8/28/40?
Yes.
Were you able to find any information in regards to 12/19/2018 in the cell dump?
No.
I believe we're also able to do a search as well. Now, did you find some text messages in relation to Joseph calling the sheriff's office
I did.
in regards to the defendant's reactions?
Yes.
Do you know the approximate date for us to start?
It'd start around the 5th of January.
And I think, is there another way that we can view these messages?
If you want to completely type in his full number of 347-652-3294, it'll just be his stuff and it'll kind of separate it out that way.
Okay. There was a way, no way to
So off to the side, on the far right side where it says SMS,
yes.
you can see the message within there as well. Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. Okay. All right. Let's go. And you said around. Okay. Did you say start about the January 5th? I don't see anything from January 5th. So would that be January 6th?
Yes.
Okay. And who is this message from?
This is from Joe.
I'm sorry?
From Joseph Quiles.
Okay. And what does it say?
Yo, you good?
Okay. And next?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Said, I'm good, just chilling.
And do you mind just saying the date and time that's indicated on the record, please, sir? And I apologize. That's my fault for not asking you to do that.
Yeah, this one, I'm good, just chilling, is January 6, 2019, 1:15. January 6, 2019, cool, to Joe. The 7th, January 7th, 2019, to Joe. Yo, you okay, bro? And the 8th, on the 8th at 2019, from Joe. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm about to pray.
And on this date, would that have then been 7:33:20 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time?
Yes,
And that's the same day that you spoke with Joseph Quiles. Is that fair to say?
correct.
Okay.
So this is January 8, 2019, 12:45, to Joe. Okay, good, man. You got me beyond stressed over here. And January 8, 2019, to Joe. Look at what I found.
And let me go ahead and... Okay, go ahead, sir.
And this is January 8, 2019, to Joe. You can't even talk to me, really. I never did anything to that girl, and now you put me through this, and you call me your brother. You're right. After this is over, I'm all the way done with you. You're a real piece of shit for what you've done.
Okay.
And this is from Joe on January 8, 2019. I can't talk to you right now. I have to stay firm on my decision. What you told me isn't a joke or something.
Make sure you say the exact words, please, for the record.
Okay. What you told me isn't some joke or something you like about. So yes, I told the police because they need to know. If you was lying, then you will be cleared and free. But if you wasn't, then you won't. I'm sorry I have to do the right thing for that girl and her family, not the right thing for you and your selfishness. I hate to lose you, but I'd rather that girl's family have some peace. If you're innocent, then you don't need to worry they won't find her body. But if you're not, they are going to find her. And in that case, I've already lost my brother. I'm sorry.
Now, there are also some photographs as well within these records. Like some images?
Yes.
And where would I go on the tab system for that? Yeah, it'd be images?
Images, correct.
Now, was there some images of IS and SS and NQ at the beach?
Yes.
And I think here, is this some images of the defendant, and they don't come out in the resolution, of the defendant and IS?
Yes.
And just for record purposes, did I blow up an image where the defendant is touching head-to-head with IS?
Yes, you did.
One second. Now, the defendant also have an image of IS's flyer.
Yes, one of the flyers.
I know it's blurry as we get bigger, but is this a portion of IS's missing person flyer?
Yes.
And then, is this another version of IS's missing flyer where there's a larger image of IS?
Yes.
And there, again, do we see another image with IS's? It's black, red, and white.
Yes.
And are there some images from Ace Pick Apart?
Yes.
And then images of family members, other family members as well, including his wife at the time, Naomi?
Yes.
And bear with me for just a moment. Is that some pictures of defendant and his wife?
Yes.
Now, I mentioned some beach images. Is this a beach image of SS and then defendant's younger daughter, NQ?
Yes, it is.
And I'm showing you another beach image. And does that involve IS, SS, and then defendant's daughter, NQ?
Yes.
I'm almost done with the images. I appreciate the patience. Now, will the defendant also take pictures of himself at Ace Pick Apart?
He did.
And in this, and I guess it's 115448, is this a picture of the defendant wearing his clothing that he would wear to Ace Pick Apart?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object. That's cause for speculation. They don't know where he's at.
I just need an objection in legal basis.
Now, was there also two other images of IS?
Yes.
And this is 150125 image for the record. And could you describe this image?
This is a picture of IS sticking keys into a door to unlock it, wearing, I think that's a jean jacket draped over her shoulder,
And what color is her shirt?
yellow.
And at the bottom, does it state a date associated with this picture?
8/17/2018.
And is there another image of IS wearing the same clothing?
Yes.
And what is the date of this image?
It's 8/17/2018.
And just for record purposes, this is 150136. Now, Detective Abbott, did you also review the cell records?
I did.
And were the cell records, was there data between the 2017 and up through December 20th, 2018?
Yes.
So that's inconsistent with what's on the cell phone.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, there's one more thing, I'm sorry. I wanted to I apologize. One last thing. Let's go back to the text messages. And is there a way also to do by name?
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to pull up. Sorry. Now, Johnathan Ace Pick, is that where you found an image in regards to the map?
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. Do you remember the date?
I do not recall the date, but it was on the phone.
Okay. Is there a way to see if there's an image associated with the message?
Yes.
Which way should I go?
These look like, okay, these are messages. So right through the center, do you see where it says export? And you go down, you see an X. There should be like somewhere through the middle next to the phone in, phone out symbol. You'll see what looks like a paper clip to indicate an attachment.
Okay. And where would that be? Am I looking at the right part of the screen?
Yeah, it should be right dead center. At least that's how it appears in the newer version of this cell phone.
I see it.
This is an old version of the reader that
Is it
we
fair
had.
to say that we don't see one?
No, we do not see one.
Okay.
Now, if you click picture, if you go line by line off on the right-hand side where you also see pick Johnathan Ace, no motor, okay, the image will pop up on that side as well if there's an image located in it.
All right. And let me know, Detective, if you see it.
Okay.
I did not see it, Detective.
I did not see it either.
But had you previously seen it?
I feel like I did.
Okay. Let me check one more location and then we'll move on. For record purposes, I've gone on under the MMS. We'll just go through each one and then we'll move on.
I do see attachments on the far right under these. There it is.
All right. Is there a way to make this bigger?
Scroll down and just click on the image itself.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And is this what you were referring to?
Yes.
And this looks like it's 15458268880 picture. And let's look at, can you tell us what date and time?
That's 12/26/2018,
Would that be,
9/21.
would that be approximately 3:21 in the afternoon?
Yes.
All right. So moving on past those records, did you also then receive some Snapchat messages back?
I did.
Okay. And before we get to those, when you arrested the defendant, part of that information is the defendant's date of birth.
Yes.
And what is the defendant's date of birth?
April 18th, 1985.
Okay. All right. So in regards to the Snapchat messages, did you obtain the defendant's Snapchat account?
Yes,
Did you review it?
I did.
And was there anything of concern from those messages?
Not really.
Okay. Did you obtain the Snapchat account of Samaya Sawyer?
No,
And let me ask, but did another detective?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And was the defendant's Snapchat account associated with his name?
Yes,
Meaning was it Johnathan Jayco or Johnathan Quiles?
Johnathan Quiles.
Now, did IS have Snapchat accounts?
Yes,
And did she have more than one associated with her?
she did.
And what were they?
Princess 40046, Yana 0906, and an XS.Yana.
Now, were you able to receive records back from all three of those accounts?
Yes,
Was there anything that involved this case in the Yana 0906 Snapchat account?
no,
What about the XS Yana?
yes,
What about the Princess 446?
yes,
Now, upon your review of XS Yana and Princess 446, did you learn that those two accounts were speaking to each other?
that's what it appeared, yes.
Now, did you obtain, when you looked at XS Yana, did you compare it then to Princess 446?
I did.
And did they have the same data from August 2018 through December 2018?
Yes,
Did you review those?
yes,
And when I say the dates, did XS Yana have from August forward?
yes,
Did Princess 446 have from February 2018 forward?
correct.
Now, was a program as well used on these items for a viewer-friendly viewing?
Yes,
And was there two different ones used for each account based upon what was available at JSO?
yes. The first time we used the Cellbrite program, and next we used the Oxygen Forensics program.
And are you also able to print out chats that occur between accounts?
Yes, when it initially comes to you, it's in an Excel spreadsheet format. It's very difficult to read, which is why we have it converted. But when it's in this program like this, instead of going line by line to look at the chat, you can click on the particular message, hit export, and it will put it in bubble format like you're reading a text message.
And in regards to items, if we look out the printouts, and I believe states 63 is the Snapchat records of XS Yana, were those done in the Oxygen program?
Yes,
And if we're looking at the printout from the Oxygen program, we cannot see images. Is that fair to say?
that is fair to say.
However, in a printout of Cellbrite, we can see small screenshots of those images.
Yes,
However, we can't obviously make them bigger, can we?
no,
Can we do that, though, on the disk?
yes,
And then in state 64, Princess 446, did you review those in the images?
yes,
And was that information in regards to the IS case that we're here for today?
yes, it was.
And based upon the content of those communications between the defendant and IS?
Yes,
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
So now I'm going to show you what is marked as states 64. And what are we looking at in state 64?
Your Honor, just based on your sustaining, can you give a curative instruction to the jury, please?
No, sir. You may continue, State.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. So what are we looking at in state 64?
these are the messages from Snapchat.
And who are they involving?
This is Yana.
Here, and I'll do this just for a moment so you can, I'll scroll up. And who are they between?
Well, right now, the only ones I see is Yana
Okay,
in green.
hold on 1 second. Let me make this. I made it bigger. Okay, let me go down just a second. So just say Yana?
Yes, with a heart and some other emoji. This, I believe, is going to be the Princess 40046 program.
Here, let me go back here, get you some, go to the welcome. Okay. Can you tell us what records these involve?
So this is case 18-866-278, and it's extraction number 2. And then you see the URL, Snapchat warrant return Princess 40046.
Okay, so are we looking at the Snapchat records that you received from Snapchat for the account of Princess 40046?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're going to pull up a timeline. I have it highlighted. And who are those messages going to be between?
So the one that's
regarding the names here on the account.
correct. The highlighted portion says from Princess 40046 to Ya, and then to excess.yana.
And so upon your review, are these messages between the accounts of Princess 40046 and excess Yana?
Correct.
And is Princess 40046 associated, and I know we can only see YA, but is it Yana?
Yes.
Okay. So then when we go to the actual chats between these two messages, is that why we are then seeing Yana?
Correct.
And I've obviously highlighted the full name. Could you read that for the record?
Princess 40046.yana heart, and it's a face emoji.
And so does that mean that the individual using Princess 40046 is the one sending the message?
Yes.
Now, when we see just Princess 40046 and we do not see anything below, what does that indicate?
You're only seeing one half of the conversation.
And are you familiar with Snapchat?
Yes.
And what happens if you don't save a message on Snapchat?
If you don't save a message on Snapchat, it goes away.
And so would these messages then had to have been saved?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to draw your attention starting out with April 29th, 2018. Could you, and 1:00:39 p.m., could you please read it?
Okay. I love kissing you. Just after I found out about the boy, it turned me off about a lot of things, but I'm working on it. Yes, I'm trying. It just be so good. I last like less than a minute. I never took advantage of you, never. You broke my heart when you compared me to him. You're not just a piece of meat to me, like you said. I actually love you. I broke his heart. I was blindsided. You left me hanging. %2C. You played me. He thinks I'm still messing with him.
And next?
The next is a couple of images.
Okay. And the first message just appears to be an audio.
It should be a video.
And there's no audio, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And what is depicted in the image?
It's a younger girl taking videos of herself.
And you said there was a second image. Is that just an image then of what?
It's screen recorded. This is how it starts off. When you, on an iPhone, you drop it down. These are different options that you can quickly access. Lower left side, you see the red circle with the red dot next to the yellow battery symbol. That's where you click to
turn your screen records off and on. And were these This video and this image associated with May 4, 2018, 12:43:19 a.m.
Yes.
It's quite sensitive. Okay, and next, could you please tell us the date and time?
On 5/29/2018, 9/17, show love to my V% to C Spanish speaking percent
No,
to,
make sure you read accurately.
okay. Show love to my V% to C Spanish spanking percent to C. He's going to do candles for me.
And the next message, please.
It's 7/7/2018, 4/29. It's a couple of different images.
Are you sure it says 429?
4/27.
Thank you, sir. I'll click on the top image. And is this an image or a video?
It's a video
Sorry,
with sound.
so sorry. I apologize to everybody.
No matter what you say, what you do, when I'm alone, I'd rather be with you.
Detective Abbott, did that video appear to be a couple?
Yes, different couples of different races.
And then the second one, could you describe is this an image or a video?
This is an image. And
And if you could please describe.
it's a white female with her tongue sticking out, holding on to a man's face who's kissing her cheek.
Hey, how much longer do you have?
This is through this, Your Honor, and that we have to it's July, and we've got to get through to December.
Give me a time.
I would say 15 minutes, because I'm going obviously pretty fast here.
Okay.
And then I'll be done.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yes, sir. If you could please tell us the next date and time.
7/7/2018, 4/27.
If you could please read it.
Maya told Uncle John one of your gay friends tried to get fresh with her. Maya tried to give Rodrika your perfume for her birthday. She lost the pink Seminoles jacket and only got the pants. Maya still used Snapchat to text Uncle John.
And could you please tell us the date and time of the next message?
7/8/2018, 1:05. It's not like you stopped. I can't believe I trusted you even when I knew you was full of shit. With me, never again. Yeah, I can unclaim your being a hoe and just deal with that hoe that don't give two shits about you. I won't be surprised if he ain't fucking all of your friends and your sister. But that's who you choose over me. Fuck it. Keep it. I hope he treats you better than me. Bye. Don't bother to hit me up if it's not something seriously wrong or important. %2C. I don't want to chat with you just because or talk on the phone just because. No more. Go back to doing that with him. Oh, I forgot you already do. I'm done with you. I hope it was worth it. You officially have broke my heart, Ayanna, and I will never forget it.
And could you please read the next message starting with the date and time?
7/8/2018, 1:06. You really just be fucking annoying the hell out of me with your bullshit. You think I'm down with these mind games? Whatever makes you feel better about yourself, I'm good, so you can keep it.
And could you please read the next message starting with date and time?
7/8/2018, 6:09. Meaning your stories didn't make any sense, but I pushed it to the side and said, I trust my baby, she won't do me like that. Then when you said what you did, it just made so much sense how you gotten better. But it don't matter no more. I'm good. I'm not going to be with you never again. I don't know what you thought when you thought I would have been just like, "Aw, stop playing," once you told me what you had done. I just can't trust you, so I'm not going to invest any more feelings in you. I hope this one's I got goes away soon because I'm really depressed and I hate it.
And the next one, please.
7/13/2018, 8:49.
And what is it?
It's an image of two guys. It's a video of two guys.
Okay, I'm just going to fast forward it to save time. So it's two guys, and there's volume associated with it as well.
Okay.
Is that fair for the record?
That is fair.
Okay, we'll move on past that. And next, could you tell us what we're looking at?
This is an image, I believe.
Okay, and what's the date and time, sir?
7/30/2018, 8:42.
And what are we looking at in this image?
It is a man holding a woman down, having sex. And it says, "Hold down and send to Bay."
Is that BAE for the record?
BAE.
All right, if you could please tell us about the next message and date and time and what we're looking at.
8/3/2018, 8/11. You don't have a good track record, and you didn't even have nothing to say when I was giving you different views. If I was in your shoes, I would have said, you put your own earrings in. I wouldn't chill about him.
Be careful. I wouldn't chill what?
I wouldn't chill around him like you do. I'll stay as far away as I can and keep you happy, but not you, Miss Real Friendly. Be like I said, it's all...
Careful, detective.
Oh, but like I said, it's all good. I'll get over it all. I hate that I keep getting in these moods over you, and you don't see nothing I'm talking about.
And could you please, with the next entry, with date and time, and what is it?
It's 8/3/2018, 8/17. I'm too jealous with you. I couldn't even sleep last night. I need to separate myself from you. Not yet. I need to calm down.
All right, if you could tell us about the next one, date and time, and what it is.
8/3/2018 at 8:18. It's a message. I know you have a lot of regrets, but I hope I'm not one.
Okay, and the next one.
8/4/2018 at 4:08, and it appears to be an image.
And what is the image?
It is a screenshot of a Google search, how sexual the signs are, 1 through 10, and it lists all the zodiac signs with a number associated next to how sexual they are.
And next, if you could please tell us about the next entry, date and time, and what it is.
8/4/2018, 4:10. You know your sister didn't rat you out, but she said something that was straight flag. I'm not going to talk to you ever again if you don't tell me, and I will go out of my way to not let you come here again.
And the next one, date and time, and what it is.
4/8/18, 4:12. Yeah, but he wants you, and you always be in his face.
And the next one, please.
8/5/2018 at 5 o'clock.
And what is it?
An image.
And can you please describe? And don't say certain words, obviously.
Okay. The N-word, do not care when it comes to this position. They will drill and kill yo shit. And it's a image of sexual nature.
All right, and the next one?
It's 8/6/2018 at 1:38. It's not last minute nothing. Your aunt was talking about how much it costs to have...
Are you sure it's talking?
Your aunt was thinking about how much it costs to have all of you guys at the house. And I was the one saying, so what? Let them come because I wanted to spend time with you. Yesterday, you was acting crazy, so I gave you a little space. But today, you are not yourself, and it's bothering me. You always say GN first if you're up before me. Now you are so into your coloring that you have no time for me. What type of bullshit is that? So again, like I said, if you want space, I'll give you all that you want, but if you keep pushing me away, I'm going to stop fighting to be with you. And you, K, O-T, what would it matter anyways? You'll be booed up with the next dude when you go to school, just like before. No, my bad. A bunch of dudes in your face. Now I leave you to your own fucking painting.
There's no O, right?
I leave you to your fucking painting.
Okay. And the next date and time and what we are looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:30. I'm divorcing you. At least I'll be able to sleep knowing I'm not going to be cheated on by you. I hate that we can't be straight up with each other. I will take you all home tomorrow.
And next, please, what are we looking at, date and time?
So 8/7/2018, 5:34. You're so full of shit, it makes me sick right now.
Okay, next message and date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:35. And you don't need to stay here for her to get it.
And the next message, please, with date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:36. I don't have to deal with none of ya.
Okay, and the next message, date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:47. You got all of the excuses in the world, but I'm going to dead all of the bullshit because I know all of your sorry ass games. I'm so fucking done with you and your bullshit. Your man nasty to be with me and trying to be my son %2C. Who does that? Guess who? Ayana. That's who the fuck who. That's the fuck who.
Thank you, sir. And the next message, date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018 at 5:48. I never ever would have thought I would ever think of you as a bird, but here I am.
And the next message, date and time, what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:49. You know what I'm going to give you? Your last piece of dick in the AM and cut all ties with you completely.
And the next entry with date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:50. I'm almost there with hating you. If I wouldn't have loved you so much, I wouldn't have ever cared, but I do, and you're killing me.
And the next entry, date and time and what we're looking at?
8/7/2018, 5:51. Why not you do way worse?
And the next date and time entry?
8/7/2018, 5:53. I can't even stand you right now. I just think I was going to leave everything for you.
And if you could please do the next entry, date and time.
8/7/2018, 5:53. What a mistake that was going to be. I can't even keep it real with.
Is it you instead of I?
You can't even keep it real with.
And could you please do the next entry, date and time?
8/7/2018, 5:56. Your aunt and I was getting a divorce, and you and I, once you hit 18, was going to break out.
And could you please read the next date and time entry?
8/7/2018, 5:57. You officially have broke my heart for the very last time. I really feel all types of anger.
Thank you, sir. And if you could please tell us about the next entry, date and time?
8/7/2018, 5:58. I'm truly going, you leave, you be, this is so crazy.
The next entry, date and time, and please tell us what it is.
8/7/2018, 6:01. I'm very hurt and stressed out, but at the end of the day, what world I live in to think you was going to ever be mine.
And the next one?
8/7/2018, 6:03. I officially have hate in my heart for you. You'll never get my love and care back, I promise.
And if you could do the next entry?
8/7/2018, 1:11. Take care. I'm not going to talk to you as much anymore, if any. I hope it was all worth it. FYI, your mom and aunt's noticed that your little self is all in Jayco's face, and all of a sudden you now want to start dancing when he's there with just a shirt on, but I'm bugging though.
And through your investigation, did you learn of someone by the name of Jayco?
Yes,
And who is Jayco?
that's the defendant's son.
And was he about the same age as IS?
Yes.
And could you please tell us about the next entry?
8/7/2018, 116. I'm not going to have you stay the night anymore anyways, so whatever you really did at this time.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 116. Being phony will never get you anywhere in life.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 119. I'm sure you have nothing to say. Oh, well, not like you ever cared about me or anything, so I'll be okay, and I will get over you.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 237. That won't help nothing. Your whole body language around him changes. I know you like him, and I've been dead on this whole time, and it gets me so mad that you just try to play me like I have been dealing with you and women in general. I know what's up. You play with the hands. He feels comfortable to say, I'll smack you. Come on, Yaya.
Now, may I stop you? When you reviewed, did you review the defendant's contact names in his cell phone, Don?
Yes.
And was there any contact associated with the name Yaya?
Yes.
And who was that associated with?
IS.
And if you could please tell us about the next entry?
8/7/2018, 647. Why you hiding your story work on handwriting.
And the next message?
8/7/2018, 648. Am I touching you, trick?
And the next message?
8/7/2018, 651. Eva, what else she posts to do when she get to calling me? I come though. All I know is money, she might need a bill paid.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 736. It's, I believe, an image. Yes.
Could you describe it?
It's a woman in pink night clothes.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 739.
Could you describe it, please?
This is a sequenced, I believe, bathing suit on top of a slab.
I apologize.
No, it's okay.
You said on top of a slab?
Yeah, like a marble countertop or something. Appears to be marble.
And the next entry?
It's 8/7/2018, 739.
And what is it?
It's a screenshot of different women in clothing, watches.
And the next entry?
8/7/2018, 747.
All right. And I'm not going to read it, but is it just a screenshot of some language?
Yes.
Okay. And the next entry? Sorry.
8/7/2018, 831.
And is it just a screenshot of various things?
Yes, about relationships.
And the second screenshot, is that the same?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll move on. And the next entry?
It's 8/10/2018, 815.
And what is it?
It's another sexual image.
And did we see this previously?
Yes.
And the next entry?
It's 8/14/2018, 11/19. I'm sick of thinking you're going to do right, and you just prove me wrong all of the time.
And the next entry?
8/14/2018, 846. I love you too. We can't risk your future. I promise I'll give you 2 kids, but you need to finish up college so you can be very successful in life.
And the next entry?
8/14/2018, 857.
And could you tell us about this?
This is a screenshot of a text message.
And could you read it for us?
So it would be from Johnathan Quiles at the top. Hey, my love, I'm so sorry I haven't got the chance to chat with you today. I've been very busy and fighting with your sister, but what's new, right? LOL. I just wanted to tell you I love you and I miss you very much. If you're up late, hit me up. I will be still working into the morning. Big hug and kiss from me to you in the spirit.
And what's the date of the response entry?
Tuesday, May 15th, 2018.
And what does it say?
I know you're busy.
And could you just read a couple of other messages there?
Yeah. Hey, love, how is your day going? Good. Yours? Started off a bit rusty, tin man, LOL.
And
Oh.
Okay, thank you. And the next entry?
8/15/2018, 9:01. I don't want to fight. I'm sick of being insecure with you. I'm so tired of being up all night thinking if you're lying to me, I'm just beat all the way up and have no more fight in me no more.
And the next entry?
8/15/2018, 9:01. Wow, no, it's not. And to be completely honest, I really don't even care no more. I'm getting sick of thinking about you two, so I'm just done because the only one that's suffering is me. So I'm just done with it. I'm going to just chill and be cool and not think of nothing at all.
And next message?
8/15/2018, 9:12. You're bugging. I have so much love for you that I'm mentally losing it. That's why I'm just not letting anything bother me no more. I need to turn off so I can get a grip.
And the next message?
8/17/2018, 10:55. I know I said I wanted you to see other people, but I don't want you to, and that's the truth.
And the next message?
8/19/2018, 3:54. You're just so full of shit. I can't no more with you. GN, bye, for good, for real. I can't be with you. You just keep doing me dirty. Whatever I did to deserve you doing me like this, I'm sorry. But you really just fucked up our whole friendship and everything. GN, I hope it was worth it.
All right, and the next message?
Would be 8/19/2018, 1:48. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I have a camera in the garage and laundry room too.
Okay, let me know if we stop when.
We can stop now. We can pick up tomorrow because of the time. I understand. Yes, sir.
Members of the jury, it's 5:45. We're going to pick up where we are tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Before I let me do this, Detective, you're free to go ahead and leave. I got some instructions I need to give to the jury.
Yes, sir.
There's no reason for you to be a part of that.
Okay.
We'll pick up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp.
9 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, you have counsel of the State Defense, Mr. Quiles present. So members of the jury, we'll pick up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I told you yesterday that I would have a better idea of the schedule for the rest of the week. I think it's going to be a full week, plus Monday and Tuesday next week, if you return a verdict of guilty on counts 1 and 2 of the first-degree murder charges. I'm going to talk to the attorneys after you guys leave and try to get some more specifics, but based on what I know, just my intuition of how this works, I think that it would be a full week this week, and then depending on your verdict, that second phase that we talked about at jury selection would be Monday and Tuesday, if that's the direction that your verdict goes. But we'll pick up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We'll keep plowing through the evidence. The attorneys are doing a great job being as efficient as they can. Please remember, don't discuss the case among yourselves or each other. Don't do any independent research. And I'm sorry for the late night, but I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning. All right, the jury's outside our presence. I still have counsel with the state defense and Mr. Quiles present. You guys may have a seat. Ms. French, I didn't want to interrupt you, but given the hour, I'm not sure I had a choice.
No, and I'm sorry, Your Honor, it was not going as fast as anticipated, and I apologize. I should have stopped earlier, so I apologize on that.
It's understandable.
But that is it for my questioning with Abbott. I'm ending with those messages.
Okay. And to the defense, I'm assuming your cross is going to be just as lengthy?
I would expect, Your Honor.
Okay.
I hope not, but
Understood. State, what's on tap for tomorrow? After Detective Abbott.
Judge, we, at this point, once we finish with Detective Abbott, I know tomorrow we would have Naomi Mobley, and then we have the 3 confession witnesses, Damian Hatch, Jordan Jackson, Joseph Quiles. Have one detective delay the predicate of just with respect to the entry of the wire. I think we should be bringing. We have 5 witnesses after the fact.
Here's the thing. It's not a problem. It's just from a scheduling standpoint. Here's what we're going to run into. I can't see how you rest tomorrow, given the length of the audio in and of itself, and then the cross of the detective that's left. So let's say you rest Thursday, sometime maybe mid-morning Thursday. That may be realistic. I'm not sure how long the cross of a couple of the other witnesses may be, Mr. Hatch and Mr. Jackson, or the brother. I don't know that, or the ex-wife. The defense sounds like they have a case in chief of at least one witness potentially. I'm not sure there's more than that. We start closings Friday morning. I'm not charging them until middle of the afternoon of Friday. I think you guys can assume issues that may arise with that. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I would prefer not to charge them late on a Friday. I'm sure I can get people here on a courthouse on a Saturday, but that's not a position I want to be in on a weekend. I'm sure I can make it happen. I haven't done it before, but that's the situation I'm seeing ourselves run into. Now, what I could do is tell them to get here at 8 o'clock or 8:30 on a Friday.
We're at the court's direction. We'll do whatever the court directs.
Yeah, I get that, but I think we need to have a sense of urgency when we talk to some of these witnesses. You guys have to do your jobs. Everybody does have to. I get that, but we have to have a sense of urgency in how we move about this trial with certain witnesses to get the case to the jury. Because I got 16 people over here who have been here from before 9 o'clock to at least 5:30 every single day the past week and a half. I know you guys have been as well, but I got to look out for those guys as well. I know you guys do it too, but I hate to charge them late on a Friday, and I'm not sure how I can avoid that at this point. Because the other alternative is give them Friday off and you close on Monday, which that doesn't seem ideal either. That's a 3-day break between testimony, and then that elongates next week. That doesn't seem ideal either. Anybody have any ideas?
But if we started a little early Thursday and Friday,
The problem is I have
you've got stuff on Thursday.
I have another judge covering my calendar on Thursday, but I have other trials set next week, thinking this was a 2-week trial that I have to deal with. And it's not fair to a judge covering to have to deal with something that they have no knowledge of. Now, I've tried to communicate with his attorneys via email, let them know what's going on. Of course, everyone's understanding of that. There are a couple pro se defendants set for trial next week in my division that I can't communicate with anybody because they're not represented. I can go through standby counsel, but they're not counsel. So I have to handle that for at least 20 minutes on Thursday. So getting here early on Thursday doesn't really move the needle that much.
I'm just thinking if we could wrap up with everything, I don't think that the defense's case in chief is going to be a
Well, let's play it out. Let's say they do rest tomorrow. You take a half day Thursday. You want to do closings Thursday afternoon and charge them Friday?
They would say yes as well.
That was kind of the thought process.
I don't think that you can rest tomorrow, though.
Where we stand right this minute, I agree with the court.
And that's the sticking point I'm with, is that I think that's a viable solution. That gives them all day Friday, potentially. I can tell them to brown bag their lunch, and they can just have the jury room to themselves all day Friday. That'd be ideal. And, not that I want to do this in a case of this nature. I can certainly time closings and say stick to your time limit. But I understand that's difficult in a case, A, of this consequence, and B, the number of witnesses and evidence. I'm aware of that as well. But you guys know that if you talk too long, you're going to lose the jury anyways. Just from a practical standpoint. So I'm trying to think of solutions or different ideas. I'm not sure there's a good one.
Yes, sir. The only thing I would just throw out, if court is considering a Saturday.
I don't want to consider that.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to.
I would say I would ask the jury to be checking their schedules if the court's going to think about that. Ask all 16 of them if they have a Saturday available. Then I would ask them and let them respond to the court and tell them the options are we're going to keep going. If that means Friday to Monday and your verdict dictates we need phase 2, that's going to be Tuesday.
So you mean that? So you're saying if they don't reach a verdict, if they deliberate Friday, don't reach a verdict, they need to come back to deliberate more, bring them back Monday, and now how that delays things.
If it's just deliberation, Judge, I would ask them to come back the next day, Saturday, if they're all able.
Well, that's where we'll be at. We're not going to be in the evidence portion by Friday. I just can't imagine that's the case. If anything, I think the defense may be able to rest early or Thursday with their case, given what they have said confidently. I would have to look into how it works on a Saturday here at the courthouse. I'm not sure the answer to that. Staff's not going to like me doing so.
I understand.
I just don't know if I have a choice.
We stand ready on the court's direction.
This is assuming that they get the case by 2:30. I can have them get here early on, like 8:30. 8 o'clock's even early for anybody on a Friday, I think. 8:30 rush hour traffic on coming down here on a Friday is much less. 8:30 is doable. Start, give them a short lunch. At worst case scenarios, it takes rebuttals after the lunch hour. Go right into charging. They should have it by 1:30, 2 o'clock. That does give them a full 3 hours before into business typically, and 6, 7 for a case of this nature is not the end of the world. But once you get past that point, I usually tell the jury, what do you want me to do next? But I don't have another day to bring them back absent a Saturday. And given the magnitude of the verdict,
I would just suggest to the court that if you are considering Saturday, just inquire them in the morning about their schedules and then give them till maybe the end of the day to either check their calendars or move things. And if they're all available moving forward and we're not ready to be completed by Friday afternoon, we come back Saturday.
is the is Mr. Hatch a long witness?
He's not.
So Mr. Jackson's the one with the wire.
Yes, sir.
Is the ex-wife a long witness?
I believe the defense will probably cross rather lengthy,
It's not that long.
and I would think 30 minutes on direct.
30 minutes on direct? That's an hour.
Yes, sir.
That's your morning with the detective now tomorrow. You think about it in that way. Now you have the afternoon for, I'm not saying you're going to call her that order. I'm just saying from a scheduling standpoint, that leaves you with the wire, the brother, the detective who set it up, who's short, obviously, and then Mr. Hatch. That's pushing it in the afternoon. Now, I can keep him here till 5:45 again.
And Judge, I would say the brother, what he is going to say will not take long on direct. I don't know where they're going to explore that on cross, but I don't anticipate a long directive.
A short witness in this case is 30 to 35 minutes. So
He's not a Billy Brown, but he's not a lengthy witness from a direct. Obviously, won't speak for the defense, but
I'll look into Saturday, see what that means, just as a backstop. What I don't want to do, I think it's a good idea to have a plan B in case the jury does need time, because
maybe the court should ask them in the morning, if we're pushed for time, can you do it on Saturday? If not, we need to make sure that Monday and Tuesday are very viable options in their calendars.
well, that means that I would.
We did ask, the court asked the jury selection, there is a chance the case would bleed into a third week.
No, I'm not doubting that, but if that's the case, then you're saying if Saturday is not viable, do I just do closings on Monday?
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't know if we would have an option. I think it's either Saturday or Monday.
So if Saturday's not an option, you're saying Monday close.
If the defense is in agreement with that, the state would agree with that.
That means we're going into at least one Wednesday of next week.
The court thinks, well,
If they return a guilty verdict on counts 1 or 2.
so and assuming they do on 1 or 2 and get a verdict Monday afternoon, is the court saying it wouldn't start penalty the next day?
The problem is, like, I have alternate jurors, and they're going to be temporarily dismissed, still under order of the court to report back at a time and date later that's unknown to me at this point to begin the penalty phase. So it's difficult for me to go straight into it, not knowing what their availability is.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes, sir. And then assuming a verdict Monday afternoon, would the court say penalty phase on Wednesday if needed?
No, what I would tell the jury is stand by your phone. You'll get a phone call, let you know your next orders. It could be the next morning. It could be the day after. I don't know how long the jury's going to be out for the guilt phase.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you don't want to, okay.
I don't know how else to handle that. I mean, I can say, plan on being here tomorrow morning, absent you hear from us otherwise, but I think they deserve a phone call from my office to let them know you're needed or you're not needed, and if you are needed, here's where you need to be, and they can plan accordingly. I'll let them know to plan accordingly. And they don't know their alternates right now, so that's not an issue.
So the court wants to hold those 4.
I think I have to. I'm not sure what choice I have. Now, the odds of us needing them are probably slim at that point, all 4 especially, but I don't think I can dismiss them because, well, I mean, I guess that's up to the state. You need 8 votes at minimum. On that's.
We're aware. Yes, sir. Well, that's why the state's position would be if we're closing Monday and we get a verdict Monday afternoon and it requires a penalty phase, we would ask to keep proceeding directly Tuesday morning.
Without the alternates.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's one night, and I think the state will be ready. When the court says, as quickly as the court can give us the time, the state will be ready.
Yeah, the problem is it depends on what the jury does. It's an unknown,
Yes,
it's an
sir.
X factor.
That's why I'm just asking them now in the morning
About Saturday?
collectively about that option of Saturday. So if Saturday's verdict requires us to return, then we have till Monday to start penalty phase.
So you think it's difficult, knowing your case, to get, with the crosses involved, to get Mr. Jackson and the audio, Mr. Hatch, the brother, and the detectives who set up the wire in one afternoon? That's pushing it.
Yes, sir. The biggest portion of ours will be the wire. So
And you're just playing it in full
yes, sir.
when they get run.
You have to watch how that conversation.
Understood. I mean, I'm not questioning that. I'm just trying to understand.
But I do say for the Damien Hatch, there's no wire. It's just testimony. Joseph Quiles, largely testimony. Now, we will have this Naomi Mobley. She'll be looking at some evidence, but again,
I did tell one of the jurors that asked us when we finished picking that Wednesday afternoon if they'll be here on the weekends, and I said no.
I believe you did.
what I'm concerned is that they took that and made plans accordingly.
And that's why I would say to them tomorrow morning, Wednesday, ask them if there was a need and it prevented you from going further into next week, would you prefer to go Saturday versus Monday proceeding into Tuesday? I know the court asked him also about bleeding the third week, and we're ready for that. If that's what we need to do, we'll go Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, but bleeding into the third week now be the majority of that third week. I'm not sure that was the expectation of anybody.
I agree with the court.
But we're in agreement with asking about Saturday. We do think that that's probably the best way to handle it. I understand that that goes against what you said to them previously, but I think that would be the way to eliminate any further bleed beyond Monday. As long as we got to bring it back on Saturday, making that assumption.
Okay, let me do some work on my end today at some point and see about Saturday for the courthouse staffing wise, because it's not just me or the 16 of them. But, I mean, it requires more than just that from a courthouse administrator perspective, and I don't know what that looks like. I need to talk to the proper people to see what that looks like. Okay, we'll pick it up tomorrow morning. And I'll have some more information I'll share with you guys, of course. I'm just thinking if I were her, I don't want to sit on this for 2.5 days without having gone through closings, because they're under further orders.
Not only that, Judge, the evidence that's coming in over the next 2 days, if that's all over the media, if somebody inadvertently talks to them over the weekend, or if they're doing something, somebody says something.
It does increase a chance of some type of exposure in that regard. I mean, the media's been all over the case, so it does. The longer we go, it certainly increases that potential, especially on a weekend.
That's our concern.
And this is, of course, assuming they need more time to deliberate. Who knows? We all been around trials enough to where who knows what a jury does.
Exactly. Sometimes they come back in a stopwatch, and sometimes they're there out as long, and we're looking at each other.
And sometimes they prefer to stay late. They're saying we're debating it. And I get that too. I mean, I've been here late for the jury, so. Okay, let me do some research. Let me see what I can pull off. What information I can get, I'll certainly provide that to you guys. And we'll pick up with the detective tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I can start early Friday, though. That's not a problem for me. I can.
Okay.
I may be able to start early Thursday. I'll have to work it out with the judge covering my calendar of when I can take a mid-morning break, step over to that courtroom, handle about 20 minutes worth of work, and come back.
I'll be following you upstairs, Judge.
Okay, I'll figure it out. Anything else we need to handle this afternoon from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
I appreciate you guys. I know you guys are working hard. I know it's a difficult case, and it's something I recognize as well, so I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you as well.